Thank you for joining us today. A lot of things have changed since the pandemic and our industry was hit hard. We're in the hospitality business, and traditionally, being in the hospitality business required a lot of human interaction. But because of the pandemic, we had to change the way we did things almost immediately. So we can continue to operate and give our staff and our diners a safer environment. Some have embraced technology to help them run their restaurants. Some are in the process of doing so, and some are still unsure, and that's okay. That is why we are here today to give you ideas on what's available out there if you're thinking of adapting the contactless dining for your restaurant. We also have a long-time customer who wanted to share her experience in shifting to contactless dining. We'll hear more from her later. But before we go into it any further, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Val Sakia. I am the Director of Business Resources for Cisco Ontario South. My team is part of a bigger team in Cisco Canada. Each region has its own business resource team, and we have a total of 7 in the country. Now, business resources provide services such as culinary consultation, menu analysis, menu design, marketing, and so much more. So if you require any consultation, please feel free to reach out to the business resources team in your region. Today, I am joined by industry experts who will tell us more about what is happening in the field and what is available for restaurants in terms of technology. So to start off, we have Laura Lasagna. Say hi, Laura. Laura has over 15 years of experience in marketing in the food service industry, retail, and consumer packaged goods. Laura is currently the Regional Marketing Manager in Cisco, Ontario South. Next up, we have Julie Glacier. Julie has 18 years of experience in the restaurant industry, mostly in fine dining. She has been with Cisco for 7 years now, first as a sales consultant and now as a category growth specialist for produce. Julie is here as a Hi, Julie. Julie is here as a panelist, but also to represent her customers and share what questions they may have in the field on contactless dining. And last but not least, we have Chris Goodwine. Chris has been working in the restaurant technology space for the past 8 years. He is currently the VP of Business Development at App8, which is an Advantage partner of Cisco. Chris will tell us more about App8 and the services it can provide for your restaurant. So to start up the discussion, let's talk about the diner's journey from the moment they decide to go to your restaurant and to their experience at your restaurant. You know, right now we've been cooped up in our house for such a long time. So everyone is just eager to be out and just relax at a patio somewhere. Right, Laura?
You're right, Val. As we move from stage to stage, we want to avoid going backwards again. So making sure that your diners and even your staff feel safe and secure with all the measures you've taken in your establishment will speak volumes and gain loyalty. We all know that attracting customers to your establishment can be a real challenge. And with 90% of guests doing research online first before even visiting any restaurant, you'll need to make sure that your online presence and the content you share is ready for your potential diners. Hey, Chris, that's a pretty high number and definitely not surprising. What are some key things that restaurants need to do with their social media to get that first impression, that first experience right?
Yeah, definitely. I definitely think people have been spending a little bit more time on social media, being cooped up at home. One of the great things, though, is that social media has greatly adapted to this, and there are a lot of good tips and tricks that you can use that you can take advantage of. So, I have 5 tips here that we can review on how to improve your restaurant's social media. Quickly, these are high quality food images, making use of native call to action buttons, responding to reviews on social media, completing 100% of your profile, and including mobile friendly menus. And I'll kind of go through each one of these on their own. So, including high quality food images, this is very important. I mean, most cell phone cameras do have can take high quality photos, but there's some making sure that the food is the center of attention that is eye-catching and clear. Make sure that you're taking in well-lit areas and that there's uncluttered backgrounds. I really like taking those images that just have, the basic setup on the table with the food at the center, and I think that can really go a long way. And most people are looking at the pictures. That's the first thing they look at. That's what's going to catch their attention. You can have great descriptions and tags and allergies and things like that on your photos, but if you don't have that great eye-catching photo, people are likely to continue scrolling. So making use of the native call to action buttons. So what's really, one of the great things is that companies like Facebook and Instagram, even Google, even Google Places, they've added these kind of native call to action buttons, so people can just get a one-click ordering function. So, for example, with Facebook, all you need to do is change the big blue call to action button at the top of your Facebook page, and you could have something that says, order now, contact us if you are a menu. And it can be simply configured to your website, to your menu, or to a great ordering service, like our own, like App8. And then you also get to choose your call to action. So you can choose something that suits your brand or suits the kind of experience you're looking to offer. As well, so responding to reviews is very important. People are going to talk about your restaurant online, whether or not you're involved in that conversation. So you might as well, take a step in the right direction and try to nip any bad experiences in the bud. So one thing you can do, especially with Facebook, it's very big. You have to go in and you have to enable reviews. One thing as well that's kind of misunderstood about social media, it's not just for broadcasting your own messages and broadcasting your different offers. I've always thought that using 80% of your time on social media should be focused on replying to conversations, starting conversations, and really just interacting with your audience. I think it's going to go a long way. And I would say for the other 10%, you're posting, and then the other 10% of your time you are doing research. You're looking for people to interact with, common companies or restaurants that you can share with. And I think it's important to respond to negative reviews, but don't forget to also celebrate the good ones. And working in the restaurant tech space, what we have found is that people are more likely to go back to a restaurant if they had a bad experience that was addressed versus just an okay one. So you really have a chance on social media to create customers for life. Completing 100% of your profile. So this may seem obvious, but one of the interesting things, especially during COVID, is that they've added a number of different features to your profile. For example, some of the stuff you can add are hours of operation, your COVID restrictions, current offerings, whether you have dine-in, takeout, or delivery, your address or addresses if you have more than one, your contact information. On Facebook, they've just added cuisine type and price ranges. You can add allergies. And they're constantly adding new features to these profiles. So it's really good to go in if you haven't reviewed it in a while to see what other possibilities that you have. Another really great one is reservations. So if reservations are required, seating is prime real estate right now because everybody does have limited dining rooms. So it's very important to let people know if a reservation is required, if you would like to encourage reservations in order to try to fill seating. But this is also something that can be done on your social profile. All right, let's go. And one of the last things as well. So menus, I think a lot of restaurants have digitized their menus over the past year or two. I think this is really important to consider a few different factors. What generally works on a full-size menu may not work on smaller screens when transitioned. So, reducing the text and clutter, we've seen to be very important. There is a limited screen size as well. If people are, for example, scrolling through your menu, you want to make sure that every one of your items are taking up the full screen so people can get to all your items easily. Making it less noisy, making it clean, still using those high quality images and making sure that they will scale. So just because it looks good on a phone screen, people might want to zoom in or they might be looking at a larger phone or a tablet, things like that. So it's important to make sure that those images will scale. And then making sure that this menu that is embedded in your social profile whenever possible. You can have it on Google Places, Instagram, Facebook, all over the place. And it just gives people more opportunity to find your restaurant and to do that quick research before they make their dining decision. So those are just the 5 tips that I had. Questions on this now, or if we're saving them till the end?
Thanks for sharing those key points, Chris. Just curious, how important is it for a restaurant to show on their social media channels what their real dining experience is going to be like when their customers arrive, to shed some light on the steps that they've taken?
Yeah, I mean, it's very important. As mentioned before, most people are going online to do research before they go out to dine. Some of this is based on, what do they want to eat? Some of this is based on, what the experience is like, how safe is it? What are the restrictions put in place? Or the measures that have been taken. I mean, restaurants are working very hard to create this safe experience that doesn't take away from the atmosphere they're trying to create. And I think this is a really good opportunity to showcase, all the hard work that's been done and, put diners at ease. And if you're not doing this, unfortunately, sometimes if you're not here and you're not showing this, then they're going to look for the restaurants where they do know what the experience is going to look like. So
Thanks, Chris. So you mentioned in your presentation about reservation. Should customers be adding a reservation button in their profile, or should we be adding this in our bio in our social media, adding it in our posts, including the phone number specific to making reservations?
yep, absolutely. Yeah, as mentioned before, seating, in restaurant seating as well as patio seating is prime real estate right now. Funny enough, when this early on in the pandemic, early on in this spring, when it was looking like things would start to open up a little bit more, I read an article about patios in the UK that were booking out 2-3 months in advance because everybody wanted to have a chance to have a pint in their favorite pub on the patio, and they knew that this was the only place to do it. So, having encouraging reservations is great for, managing the flow of guests through your restaurant. Yeah, having reservations for somewhere specific like a patio would be great as well. And yeah, you do have the opportunity to plaster this all over your social media profiles. You go places so that they do know about it. And you also mentioned putting it on your posts. Maybe there are days during the week where you're not as busy, where you're just posting on social and you're just encouraging people to come. But if it is a bit your busier times, then always mentioning that reservations are encouraged or reservations are required on your social posts will definitely help. Will definitely help your guests, not only be able to arrive and dine, but it sets better expectations.
Great points, Chris. So we can all agree that we eat with our eyes first. So showing our limited time offers, our LTOs, or even our daily specials is a must to get people excited. But is an image all you need? Do you think that every image needs the call to action? And how much copy is too much when describing your dish on social?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that keeping your description simple but relevant, so making sure that they have all the information they need about allergy restrictions. Definitely calling out your secret sauce, if you will, or if there's extra effort put into that dish, you want to make sure that people know what defines it. Um, I definitely think that any solution that you're using, like an ordering solution, should have the capabilities to add dynamic pricing, limited time offers. It should be easy to update, out of stock items, things like that. Um, but when it comes to describing the dish, I'd say, yeah, definitely focus on the core pieces, the allergies, make sure that that photo looks really great. And just remember too, as mentioned before, what we actually one tip we have is when you're describing something that everybody knows, like a classic Coke or a Bud Light or something, you don't generally need a massive description or an image even. If you can just keep that to simple text on your drink section, people can scroll through very quickly, and you actually leverage a lot of that real estate on the screen. If you have your super house daiquiri, that's a big deal that you can upsize and all things like that. That's where you want to have that nice big image so you can have an extra description. So really just save that phone real estate and those extra descriptions for those items that you really want to call out, that really define and make your restaurant special.
Perfect. Thanks for all those insights. So everyone, now that we got your customers into your establishment, now how do you give them that great experience, that great dining experience in your restaurant?
No, that's true, Laura. How do we give them that great dining experience? And I think this is where contactless dining plays a big part, giving our diners, that feeling of they're in a safe place, it's hygienic, everything will run smoothly. Now, I think this is the perfect time to share that video I mentioned earlier about one of our customers. She put a video together to share her experiences on how she adapted quickly to the limitations of the pandemic and brought about and how she brought about, how she transitioned rather to contactless dining. Her name is Lindsay Shantz. Lindsay is the owner and manager of Trails Edge Tavern in Plattsville, Ontario. So just give me a sec to set it up, and I will play the video for you shortly.
Hey, I'm Lindsay. I own Trails Edge Tavern in Plattsville. We're about a 100-seat restaurant. And Bronson and Valerie have asked me to come talk to all of you about technology and how it's improved my business and my sanity, to be fair. So about 6 years ago, I want to say, Bronson was my Cisco rep, and he introduced me to online purchasing through Cisco, which I was not a happy camper about. I thought, no way is this for me at all. I wanted to stick to, we're gonna have a meeting, I will order my food through him and go from there. I don't generally like change, although I do, but I think I don't, like the rest of us. And it is now the best thing that could have happened to me. Instead of taking, an hour to sit down with my rep, because let's be honest, we all talk way more than just ordering our food from them. It takes me 5-10 minutes to enter it in the computer. I can find substitutes myself. I can find if there's things out of stock, in stock, just searching different products. But then the rep's there for any questions you have. I find it just makes the meetings go a little bit smoother. After that, we were a small restaurant that we did handwritten bills. And about 5 years ago or so, we went on to an online, or a POS system, I'm sorry. And it's Touch Bistro, and it helps you organize all of your bills and all of your tables and everything through your tablet. Instead of having bills that are lost and handwritten chits and things that aren't rang in. And you know what, people tried, I worked in other restaurants that we used it as well, but I thought, I don't want to spend the money. I don't want to spend the money on all of this. And let me tell you, with finally signing on to a POS system, it has made me so much money because of less mistakes and things that are forgotten. It's already in the system, so it can't be forgotten. So it's a monthly fee in the Touch Bistro. You can find other ones and pay it outright and use it there and get new software every now and then. But I couldn't imagine through COVID of not having this. Our takeout was unreal. I hope for the rest of you, yours was too. But we had to sit down as staff and talk with each other of what we could handle through service. And this system made it easy enough as we would have 5 people coming in to pick up takeout every 15 minutes. It would keep it all organized so we wouldn't lose bills, and everything was written on it. Easy for the kitchen to read, multiple copies. Like, it was just, I couldn't imagine going back to handwritten bills and not having that organization. Also through COVID then, we came into an online ordering system. So our customers we only had one phone line. So for them to be able to get through, we started this, and it would come through and ding at you. You would accept the order. And again, a little overwhelming at first. And there's definitely some quirks to it that we had to kind of MacGyver and learn different systems too. But all in all, I was very, very happy with it. That, a phone call, I'd be on with somebody for 5 minutes or so, and you could hear the other line beeping through consistently, and everybody talking to you when you finally get through was just that, oh, you are actually there. Thank God we got through. So the online ordering system allowed multiple orders to come through at once. And to be honest, there's times it was very, very overwhelming, but business-wise, it brought in so much more revenue. We also did these lovely QR codes. I'm sure a lot of you are sorry, it's upside down. I'm sure a lot of you have also seen these. Yeah, it's a monthly fee. They have some free ones, free trials and whatnot, but it brings up your menu, can bring up different links, really whatever you want to program onto it. Really the worst thing with technology, as all of us know, is really getting used to it. And all in all, once you know how to work it, it's the best, easiest thing, and it is a time saver for everything. We also use obviously a lot of social media and our website and everything to keep everybody knowledgeable of what's going on. I promise you, I am not somebody who ever thought technology is something I needed. We had a old school cash register before this, and I just can't say enough of how thankful I am for technology. And obviously, I'm here for any questions if any of you have them for me. But I mean, I feel like Valerie and the rest of the Cisco team can help you out wherever needed. Good luck, everyone.
From Lindsay, and there's a lot of great takeaways from that video. You know, it's all we want is to empower our guests, right? You know, technology is technology. Obviously, you've witnessed it today. We can't help but have little issues here and there, but it's just birthing pains, and you'll get through it. And then the ROI in the end is amazing, as Lindsay mentioned in her video. But yeah, it's a great way to make your restaurant more efficiently. Now I'm going to pass it on to Chris, because Chris, we do have a few questions about the app, so I'll let you present first, and then we'll jump into the questions. Thank you for sending your questions, guys. Just keep sending them through the chat, and we'll get to it right after Chris.
Great. All right, so you should be able to see my screen. Can you still see my video at the moment?
I see your video on top, and we can see your presentation on the big screen.
Excellent. So essentially what I have set up here is a Pixel Point POS, our solution on the right with my on my own phone. And yeah, so essentially what App8 is it's a service that gives you the ability to offer dine-in, contactless dine-in, takeout, pickup, delivery, all in one solution. We also offer contact tracing. And one of the best parts is that it all functions through kind of a singular, what we call a beacon. So this is essentially what it looks like. It has, you know, your table number. It has our brand, or you can have this customized. It includes a QR code as well as an NFC chip. So you can either tap on it or you can scan the QR code in order to access the menu or the service. So I'm actually going to pull up a QR code right here, and I will give you a quick demo of what a transaction would look like through mobile ordering. Now, if you would like, you can actually go ahead and scan this QR code with your own phone. You should be able to go through the whole ordering process with the exception of actually placing the order, as this is a demo system, but it'll give you an opportunity to scroll through the menu, select options, fill up your cart, look at what the payment process would look like. Just you just don't have to hit order. Now, I will also go through this on my side, so I'm just going to pull up my camera, scan the QR code, and it's going to pull up the menu for me. Now, we offer this as a browser-based solution or through our application. So there's a couple differences that I can explain later. But well, the good news here is that anybody that walks into your restaurant with a smartphone can use the solution on their mobile browser with their phone. So I'm actually going to show you what that looks like right now. Just do it again quickly while I. All right. So here's a simple menu that we've set up. You know, you can still divide your menu by different sections. So right here we have, you know, our food items. So I can quickly scroll down. I can go ahead and say, okay, I love the jumbo pretzel, add that to my order. And then I want to add a drink to that as well. So I can go to the liquor menu and select, you know, say gin is my favorite. You know, I think I need to select vodka for this. So I can go ahead and say I like the vodka, and then one of the other important factors is also making sure that you have all the options, whether they are paid or you know, free upgrades or add-ons. One of the things we've seen with a lot of ordering solutions, or that we've heard from restaurants, is that A lot of people are writing in their extra instructions in the special instructions section or their extra add-ons, and sometimes restaurants are getting mobile orders or takeout orders where they have, you know, paid options that are just thrown into the special instructions, which can cause a disruption to the service. So it's important when choosing a service like this, an ordering service, that you make sure they have the ability to have a lot of descriptors, a lot of the add-on options that are both paid and free. So in this case, if I want to customize this drink, I can go ahead and make it a martini. You can go ahead and, you know, determine how you like it, and, you know, add that to the order. Another great feature as well that we've added here is, you know, making sure that you let guests know that if you're not of the legal drinking age and you can't show an ID, then you're not going to be served the food, or sorry, the drink, which is important because, you know, even if people try to get away with it, it does disrupt your service. You will have to, you know, submit refunds and things like that. Now, I can just simply add that to the order. Now, if I'm ready to check out, I have a chance to review my cart here. So I can look at what was purchased. We make tipping something that's very important, so we highlight it. It's highlighted in red. We give people the option, you know, you can preset your tip options, whether in this case we have it at 15, 18, and 20%. You can also add a dollar amount instead if that's if the guest is more comfortable with that. And when they are ready to check out, they can go ahead and hit checkout. Now, this is where you fill in your contact information. If you're like me, you probably have, you know, a profile or two saved in your browser already. And then when it comes to paying with your credit card, when you're using the mobile browser, you have to input it manually. If you have Apple Pay, Google Pay, or a credit card saved to your browser, then you can automatically pull it up. But one of the nice things about using the application is that your payment preferences are already saved in there. So it's just like checking out like with an Uber ride or something, or any other kind of ordering service where your credit card's already on file for a faster checkout. So what you can see here is I have the opportunity to either you know, scan a new card. So a lot of the browsers will allow you just to take a photo or just to pull up your camera, and it'll add all your details in to make this simple. But if you do have a card saved to your browser, it's very quick to input it. And then I can go ahead and hit review. So now I have one more chance to review the order, look at the payment options and the summary, and then go ahead and I can place my order. So what you're going to see here on the left is actually the POS receiving the order. Since it is a mobile order, it's not opening up a table, but it's just going to print out a receipt. So what's nice about this is it'll actually print the receipt to let the servers know that an order has been placed, and it has the ability as well to place, for example, I ordered a drink and food item, so one of these items is getting printed in the kitchen while the other is being printed at the bar, so there's no confusion there. And that's a pretty simple experience. As mentioned, if you go through the app experience, then you have your tip preferences saved, you have your payment preferences saved. As well, you can create a tab so that you're not having to order, you know, repeatedly pay for your orders as you go. Just saw a quick question there about splitting bills, so I will just comment on that. What we've done is made the server control the whole experience. So the point of sale is the one source of truth. So you can't split the bills in the app, but if you talk to your server and you say, hey, could you split these items for me? Could you split up, you know, share this picture across the table? That can be done by the server. What you have the ability to do with our service is that if you are ordering to the table or using the app, then you have the ability to pay multiple bills. But whatever the server determines, or however the server splits up the bills, it's all done by seat. So you can split the items across that. We like this because it allows the servers to keep control. And we have seen some negative experiences where people have the ability to, you know, just select the items that they want to pay for the bill. And what has happened in that case is some people select the wrong items and pay for them, or the last person who's going to pay the bill is stuck with a few extra items that were missed. So we do it by seat, and we allow the server to control it, and the guest has the option to pay one bill or all the bills for the table, but they don't have the ability to edit the bills themselves. And one other feature we added is that if the check is open on the table, so if the server is still adding things or removing things to that check, then you will get an error message when you try to pay. It'll just say, hey, the server is still updating your bill. You know, we had, you know, some earlier feedback. There was, you know, from restaurants, they were concerned with people ordering that last drink and then just paying with the app and leaving before the server had a chance to update it. So now we've added in a few different kind of checks and balances for that. So that's what I had for a quick overview. I can talk a little bit more about the plan later in the presentation, but I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing and pass the baton back to the team.
Chris, just a quick question. With all the automation, I know servers are going to be concerned about missing out on tips because, sort of the process is changing. How does App 8 help with that? And are there still opportunities for the server to upsell and, give attention to their table?
Yeah, absolutely. So it's kind of we kind of solve that in two different ways. I mean, first off, we highly encourage the servers staying involved with the process the whole time. If anything, when they're using a mobile ordering service or even the ability to do digital menus and payments, it actually gives the servers more time to spend on the experience. So they can, they should still, go to their table, introduce the specials. They should still, check on their guests, make sure they don't have any questions. They come back at the end of the meal to make sure they're upselling that coffee and dessert. As well, with a good solution, you should have the ability to show as shown on the app the upselling options. So if you want to supersize something or pick, your own restaurant brand kind of upselling, that can all happen in the app as well. And when it comes to tipping, so cash tips are still something that's pretty common with people using this ordering service. So they'll still leave a cash tip instead of adding it through the service. And one thing that we've noticed is actually a small increase in the percentage of tips for a few different reasons. The fact that, people sometimes feel stressed to do that mental math when the server is standing next to them with the payment machine and they're trying to get it done quickly. They're having happier experiences. One of the reasons I actually joined this company is because I'm the classic person who will go to a restaurant, finish my meal, and then be like, all right, let's get the bill and get out of here. Like, this is great. Let's move on with the night. Because sometimes you're sitting there for several minutes waiting for the bill, and then you have to wait for the payment terminal, and then by the time it comes, what was an otherwise great experience has been soured a little bit. So yeah, so like, just to reiterate, I mean, the servers will have more time to spend with their guests. They can still do their upselling. The app can do some of the upselling for you, and then when it gets going through a happier, smoother experience, we have seen an increase in the tip size. Not to mention that it's been proven that people will order more through apps like this, and more orders means a larger tip at the end, just based on the volume. So
That's amazing. I think a lot of servers will be happy to hear that for sure. Just a couple other things. Are you able to add daily features, offers, and specials to that app? And what happens if you run out of something during service? Can you remove that from the app so that customers aren't disappointed at the table? And can you sort of, do that process on your phone? Do you have to sort of, get back into your office and do it on your desktop? Or is it more like, is the owner of the restaurant or the manager of the restaurant able to do it kind of on the fly?
yeah, for sure. So there's two different ways that we pull down menus. Number one, we have a standalone service where it's done through a tablet. So you actually have the ability to log into, it's all mobile and web friendly and responsive. So you can log in from your manager computer, from your laptop at home, from your tablet or your phone on the fly. And you can quickly archive items. You can quickly create new items. And that can all happen, fairly quickly. We also pull menus directly from the POS. So if you have control, so you should be able to, or a manager should be able to go into the POS and quickly archive an item or change the stock amount on the POS side, and then our app will automatically pull down the most up-to-date menu. So we have made it pretty easy for orders to be updated on the fly. I mean, especially when it comes to mobile ordering, or you have servers that can't just say, "Oh, let me just go check to see if we have any more of the tuna sticks left that was a daily special." We found it's really important to be able to do this quickly and easily because it's just a disruption to service. And if you had a bunch of people ordering the same thing in a shorter period of time, and that can cause quite a pile up and a bit of a customer experience nightmare. So with us, I mean, with the tablet, it's as simple as taking an item and swiping it to archive it. You can log into the POS on the fly, and as mentioned with special offers. As you saw on the app, we have the ability to add pictures and bigger descriptions, and really show what makes your specials great.
So just as a quick follow-up, when you're removing an item from the interface, it removes completely. It's not like a cross through it.
Yeah, it will archive. Now, we are adding kind of out of stock features, so you can say, hey, this is just out of stock for the moment. But if it is a special or something that is a limited time offer that you want to archive, that's how we do it. So you can archive it. If it's something that's common that you have all the time, we have an out of stock option where you can just toggle that on. So whatever option works best for the restaurant. And the good news here is that anything that you archive, you can quickly pull back. So if you can, make more that night and pull it back, you're not having to actually recreate that menu item. It's as simple as just, going to the item and putting it back on the active menu.
Great, thank you.
This is great. I mean, I feel like it's so easy to use, but our customers are in different stages in their business. So what if, let's say, they just want to start with a QR menu? How easy is that to incorporate in the app? And, like
Yeah.
I know you showed us a little device earlier, but other than that, is there any other option, Chris?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you can print out a QR code fairly easily. You can have it laminated so it's spill resistant. There are a lot of, we talked about some of those good menu tips for PDF menus. So applying those is pretty easy, and then creating that nice PDF menu that can be hosted online. A couple of quick tips though. Um, Number one, if there are a lot of free QR code generators out there, and you can definitely leverage them. It's a pretty simple operation to just create the QR code off of any link. One thing to look out for is some of these free solutions have a daily limit. So you want to make sure that you're not going to run into that. Personally, I ran into that when I was doing presentations trying to send QR codes to people, and I learned that a long time ago. But I just wanted to pass on that little tidbit that just make sure that doesn't have a number of daily scans that where you're gonna hit that limit. And funny enough, I actually ran into a situation last night. It was the first time I dined out in a very long time, but I was in a nicer restaurant that had that really nice dim lit atmosphere. Um, but what was unfortunate was that the QR code was so poorly lit that I had a hard time scanning it. So make sure that if you do have a QR code, that it is well lit enough that people can pull it up with their cameras. I have a pretty new phone, so I was able to grab it. But if you have an older phone that doesn't do like night photos and things like that, just make sure that your QR codes are well lit. And with App 8, we actually add an NFC tap in there as well. So if people aren't familiar with QR codes, then they can just tap their phone on it. And if they've ever gone to Starbucks, or if they've ever used those kind of phone wallets and things like that, then their NFC is going to be enabled for them.
That's something
Great
good
to
to
know.
promote on social media too. If you have that thing like the tap thing in your restaurant, that's a great thing to promote. Yeah.
Definitely, yeah.
Yeah, great points there, Chris. So you touched a little bit about the tab service. Is that easy to do? Are people finding any challenges doing this, like as a customer?
Did running a tab.
Yeah, running a
Um,
tab.
Yeah, so that's something that we've actually had for a long time. It's one of the first things we added. I think running a tab is easy when you have the service, because once you place the order through our application and you have a credit card on file, then the tab is good to go, and you're not worried about that guest anymore. If that guest, for example, forgets to pay and walks out, and we've even had some guests who are just the honest thieves, that they actually got to the payment window and they hit review and then they hit checkout and then they left without actually hitting the pay button. We actually have a couple of checks and balances here. So number one, we'll automatically close the tab at the end of the restaurant so that their servers are not stuck waiting with an open table. So we can go ahead and close that for them with a 15% tip as part of our terms and conditions. We also have something that will time it out. So if they haven't placed an order in, I think it's an hour or two, and I think that's something that you can set, then we will automatically close that tab, because it's likely that they just walked out or forgot. So there are a few things that we do, and I mean, this is a great solution for replacing putting the credit card behind the bar piece. No guest ever has to come back to the restaurant in the morning to reclaim their credit card. So as mentioned, if you do want to run a tab, and we actually even signed up a bowling alley chain that has a lot of league bowling, and a lot of their regulars will come, and they're going to they're going to be there for a few hours, and they're going to order some drinks and some food, and they don't want to have to go through that experience of paying after every item. So with the tab option, you just have the ability to just quickly add things to your order. It goes to the point of sale. You have an active table in the POS, so the server can also go ahead, split items as mentioned before, shuffle things around the seats if anything's been misordered, and things like that. So if it's, I guess to cap that off, our solution does have, like as mentioned, the mobile-friendly browser solution as well as the app. What we like to think of is that the mobile browser option is a great way to onboard people to the solution. And if they are regulars, then downloading the app is a great next step, because it does unlock a number of convenient features for them.
Good to know. So Chris, does App 8 have anything on contact tracing? Because it's not going away anytime soon. So
Yes, there are a lot of great data, kind of free database services out there. One of them we actually link to add contact tracing into our solution. A couple of features with this is number one, um, it's only the first person that sits down at the table that actually gets asked to do the contact tracing. So that it's a pretty seamless experience for them. The next people that tap on that beacon or scan the beacon will not have to do that. Another good thing is one, we offer it for free. It's included with all of our services, and the other great part is that it's actually the same beacon that you use to order. So you don't want to have too many things for people to scan or tap on at the table. And with our solution, they can access the menu, the contact tracing, or mobile ordering, as well as the payment piece, all from that one interface. And what's nice about this one is right now it's on like a cork and rubber base that can be put on a bar or moved around. But we also have this industrial grade adhesive where you can stick it directly to the table. This is an acrylic that's been, that was stuck to our CEO's dining room table for 6 months, where he washed it every day to try to test the material out. And we were able to find something that is durable, that's not going to peel off the table, which I think is very important. But yeah, so you can access contact tracing through this interface, and it's something that happens at the start of the meal, and then you can kind of forget about it for the rest of the dining experience.
I think I'm going to have a lot of customers really interested in this app. I think it's really slick. Just out of curiosity, how long is the setup process from start to finish? Is there like a customer support line? Does the diner's information, get sold off to anybody? I know that, a lot of people are worried about spam and, that kind of stuff, just in terms of security. So if you can speak a little bit to that, that would be great.
Yep, absolutely. Getting set up can be a pretty easy process. It is a two-way process, so we're going to demand some information. If we get it in a timely manner, it usually takes about 2 weeks to get set up and to drop ship the beacons to the location. We do have a 24/7 support line and an onboarding team that will walk restaurants through the setup, and we offer kind of unlimited training for your staff and for management. When it comes to diners information, we actually do keep, so you do have access to a portal with a solution like ours that will give you, your transaction counts, feedback scores, things like that. You'll see how, it can be used to do your end-of-day reconciliation. All the information that is collected is protected by us, so even the restaurants won't have access to it, so they can't just, reply directly. They won't be able to just, spam everybody that came to their restaurant, so using the service. And it's not something that we do either, so we're not actually emailing customers unless there's a support issue. So we actually act as a barrier between the guests and the restaurants, so that the restaurants can see the transactions that have happened, but they're not going to be able to directly go after a specific person or take the list of customers and then spam them with promotions and things like that. That being said, we do have a customizable receipt. So if you do want someone to sign up for your email list or your marketing list, or hey, would you like to be notified of upcoming promotions? Do you want to join our restaurant group? That is something that can happen in the actual payment screen or on the receipt that gets sent to you. So you do have that opportunity to collect that guest information, but it would have to be an opt-in after the fact.
Does the app give a place for anybody to give a review while they're at the restaurant?
Yes, actually, if you're, depending if it's, so we have the option to enable this or not enable it, but we do have like kind of a simple interface that gives you kind of a 1 to 5 star option, as well as customizable preset tags. So if you said, oh, this is a 4-star experience, and that was because of the atmosphere, the service, and the price, and then you have an optional text field, so you can fill in that piece. And if that is something that you have enabled, that is the one chance that we have one opportunity that we allow you to respond directly to the guest, because depending on the feedback, we still manage the feedback to make sure that both sides are playing fair. But we do have the option to reply to a guest comment if they've opted in to receive that feedback from you.
Great.
Perfect. Thanks so much, Chris. This is great information. I heard you have Cisco Advantage new offer for our customers. Can you tell us a little bit more about that and what our customers can get?
Sure. And here's what we have. We call it the Order Anywhere service, and we do have a great offer for Cisco Advantage clients. What we call the Order Anywhere service is like, there are great third-party tools like SkipADishes and Uber Eats that are a great marketing channel to bring new customers into your restaurant, but we believe that the restaurant should be able to control the experience, make it a guest-centric opportunity, a guest-centric service. So with us, we're actually able to offer dine-in, pickup, and delivery. So whether it's mobile ordering, contact tracing, menu management, it can all be done under App 8, so that you have complete control. As far as commission fees, I just saw that we don't actually charge commission fees. you have the ability to set what your delivery fees are, or what, if you want to put a COVID charge in, you want to put in a service charge, delivery charge, that is customizable, but we don't actually charge commission for the transactions. We charge a monthly fee, and then we have card not present transaction rates as well. In certain cases, we can leverage your existing processor, but we also provide our own. But that is somewhere where we've noticed that there was a big discrepancy. There are different tiered packages that your sales consultants can break down for you. But what we're actually doing for the Cisco Advantage is we're offering our Pro package. So this is what you get with our Order Anywhere service. With our Pro package, we talked a lot about in this presentation. So this is what every Cisco Advantage partner would get, or a customer would get for our base pricing. And that includes, more customizable menu with more sections, dynamic pricing, which is your happy hours, your limited time offers, the stuff that you can change on the fly based on the time or location that people are in. You get advanced insights, the ability to use promotional tools, like as far as promo codes for your guests or coupon codes, integrating to third-party solutions. So we are integrated with, gift card companies. We are adding, loyalty programs and other gift card companies as we speak. But that's something that we're going to be pushing more in the fall. And it includes the digital floor plan, which is essentially, we will create a beacon for every table in your POS floor plan so that when someone orders, they automatically know where the order is coming from. We also offer the ability to just do a pickup window, so all the QR codes would be the same, and people would all just go to pick up at the bar or the window when ready. But with the Pro plan, you basically get the ability to program these beacons to your exact floor plan, so there's it's more organized and a more seamless experience. And this also includes the ability to integrate with a number of different point of sale systems. We do offer standalone, but if you do have a POS that we integrate with, then we will be able to pull everything down from your POS, which can make things a lot smoother. And if you have an older system or you don't have one of these systems, we do offer a tablet-based option as well. There's a lot of, it has all the abilities that you'd expect, where you can manage your orders, you can manage the menus, you can link it to printers in your kitchen and behind your bar, so that it can be that smooth experience. And then you have the ability, some people will input the information into their POS after the fact. Some people just use our reporting portal to reconcile at the end of the day. I think that's everything. And then this is just to let you know, this is everything that we offer sits on top of our core features. So PCI compliance is a big one. We are PCI compliant, so we will protect the credit card information. We're common credit cards, Apple Pay, Google Pay enabled, real-time transactions, everything's web and mobile friendly. You do get notifications. Now I turn my phone on do not disturb just in case, because I can't control what comes into my phone sometimes. But you do get an email and you do get a text when your order is placed and when it's ready. One thing we're doing, working with a baseball stadium in Winnipeg, where we actually create a virtual concourse, and we have pickup sections. So to try to be COVID friendly and have that social distancing, you're placing your order when you're away from the stand, and when your order is ready, that's the only time you're actually going to pick up your food or drinks, which is really important. So if anyone's ever been to a stadium, you notice that it's a pretty big pile up there. So we've actually included some features to reduce the clutter, including, and notifications are a great way to do that. So you don't actually have to stand right next to the stands. So that's everything that I had. There's some of my contact information if you wanted to reach out, but I encourage everybody to talk to their sales consultants, as I am interacting with them on a weekly, monthly basis and providing them with all the insight, and that's where you can get all of the information on the pricing and the plans that we're offering.
That's great, Chris. Thank you very much. We do have a few questions that came in the chat that we haven't had a chance to answer. So there's a question on reporting. So this app 8 allow for reporting from user transactions and usage. So
yeah, so we do have a management portal where you'll be able to see all the transactions that come in. You can see things like which server was involved in the transaction, what was the tip amount, what items were ordered. We're adding more insights all the time. So as far as understanding too, like what are the popular items that are getting ordered. But you can use this report to do your end of day. It is exportable to Excel and common formats, but we do provide that as part of the service.
perfect. I don't see any other questions in the chat, so lots of great discussion today, guys. So that concludes our presentation for today. I'd like to thank all our panelists for sharing their expertise on the subject matter. And we hope that you found the information shared today very valuable. A few key takeaways about contactless dining is that it's easy to do, you can start small. Our Advantage Partner App Aid is here to help you set it up if you're interested. We will share this recording and Chris's information after. And the Business Resources team is here to help you grow your business even more. So we are an email away. So just let us know if you need our assistance in any way. The video recording, as mentioned, will be posted this week on Cisco Canada's YouTube channel under the Cisco Ontario South playlist. There will also be a takeaway guide with the details shared today, along with a few other tidbits we didn't get a chance to discuss today. Our next At the Table session will be on September 8th, 28th rather, September 28th, focusing on the plastic ban and composting. We have industry experts joining that session to help us understand the implications of the plastic ban and how we can prepare for it. So again, Chris, Julie, Laura, thank you very much. And to everyone who joined us today, thank you very much and enjoy the rest of your week. Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thank
guys.
you.
So yeah.